Good morning and welcome to Wake Up Well. It's the 28th of December and today I'm reading from the book of John. It's chapter 1 and it's verses 19 to 30. This was John's testimony when the Jewish leaders sent priests and temple assistants from Jerusalem to ask John, "Who are you?" He came right out and said, "I am not the Messiah." "Well then, who are you?" they asked. "Are you Elijah?" "No," he replied. "Are you the prophet we're expecting?" "No." "Then who are you? We need an answer for those who sent us. What do you have to say about yourself?" John replied in the words of the prophet Isaiah, "I am a voice shouting in the wilderness, 'Clear the way for the Lord's coming.'" Then the Pharisees who had been sent asked him, "If you aren't the Messiah, or Elijah, or the prophet, what right do you have to baptize?" John told them, "I baptize with water, but right here in the crowd is someone you do not recognize. Though his ministry follows mine, I'm not even worthy to be his slave and untie the straps of his sandal." This encounter took place in Bethany, an area east of the Jordan River where John was baptizing. The next day, John saw Jesus coming toward him and said, "Look, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. He is the one I was talking about when I said, 'A man is coming after me who is far greater than I am, for he existed long before me.'" So here we have the testimony of John the Baptist. And he's portrayed as a slightly unusual character, isn't he? I mean, not everyone in that time was wearing camel hair tunics, eating locusts and wild honey, and living out in the wilderness. However, John knew who he was. He understood that he was chosen by God, not as the Messiah or the prophet, but as one to point the way, to signpost people to Jesus, who he describes here as the Lamb of God. And when the Pharisees and those religious leaders who were sent as a delegation, weren't they, to quiz him about who he was and what right he'd got to baptise, John simply turns the attention away from himself and he points the leaders to Jesus. John the Baptist knows his identity as a child of God, and therefore he can effectively point others to Christ. He didn't need favour or to be seen to fit in society. John humbly pointed to Christ, and he was able to do this convincingly because he was fully committed to knowing Jesus, to making his relationship with him a priority. God entrusted God's self to human beings, to you and to me. And in verses 29 and 30, John describes Jesus as the Lamb of God, who existed long before John, since the creation of the world. But here we see Jesus offered in his divinity, but clothed in humanity, so that we might have life, so that we might be able to accept the gift of being children of God. Jesus, the Lamb of God, isn't what everyone is expecting. The religious leaders who lived according to the law of Moses and claimed to know the scriptures, they didn't recognise Jesus. But just like John the Baptist prepares the way and points people to Jesus, giving his life to that purpose, we too are invited to share that purpose. We're called to humbly serve God, to testify to who Jesus is, to commit to become more like Jesus, and to seek his will in every aspect of our lives, so that we might know and display to others who Jesus is, and his desire to be known by all as the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. So I bless you on this day to commit to joining, to pointing the way to Jesus. Bless you.